Hello and welcome to my channel. Today we are going to be creating a wallpaper application like the one you are seeing now on the screen. We are going to be using Pixabay REST API to interact with our Android Studio code. So let's get started. You really enjoy this tutorial because we are going to learn how to use many things. So let's create a new project. We are going to create a new project in Android Studio. You will learn adapter, you will learn Recyclerview also in this tutorial. So call it wallpaper application. And you are going to learn how to communicate with external REST API. So click on finish. So the next thing, we are going to use a relative layout. But first of all, let us add all the dependency that we need in this app. We need the Pixabay, we need volley, library. We also need Picasso library. Another thing, we need Android material dependency. So let's copy and paste. So let's sync our project. Sync it. So the next thing we are going to do, we are going to enable internet connection, so that because we are connecting to the internet. So let's work on the XML main activity. So we'll be using relative layouts. So after then, the next thing, we are going to bring in Recyclerview. So the Recyclerview, we set it as match parents. We give it an ID of my Recyclerview. So after then, let's go and create the layout. Let's just give a little background for us to make things a little bit beautiful. So I choose that color. The next thing, we are going to create the layout to link the layout which will carry the image, the property of the image that will be displayed, which is the image, the creator's name, and the how many likes that the image has. So let's create all these properties. This is the layout. We'll use card view. We set it as 8dp, that is the margin, corner radius 8dp. So that is it. So let's set the match per linear layout to carry the image, the creator's name, and the like. So we set image view. We set it to scale type as fixed XY. We give it ID as image view. So we need a vector asset for the image. So let's just look for the vector asset called image. So we're going to use it. We write source drawable image. Alright, so let's work on the text views. So the first text view will be the creator's name. We set it as wrap content. So the next, we give it name, creator's name, ID, mcreators. I think, what do we need again? Text color black, text size 20 sp. So let's just copy and paste it below for another one. So this one is going to be likes. we set it as like, so just set it this way so that the number of likes will display and it will still show likes. So margin top 20 dp for it to shift away from the top. We'll also set it for the creator's name, margin top 20 dp. So let's create the Java class. We're going to call the Java class image. The Java class will give it all the property, that things that we are going to request from the server. So the Java class will give it string image URL. These classes are things that we need from the API. So we give it creator's name, like. So let's create a constructor. A constructor is called once every image is being created. So let's create the getters class. Alright, so the next thing, we are going to create our image adapter. So one of the importance of this tutorial is that you learn how to use adapter. So we are going to extend Recyclerview adapter .adapter. So adapter, then we use image adapter my view holder. So you can see that it's producing an error. So we just click on this bulb icon and implement the method. We just follow the way it is. That is a very short form of creating all these adapters. So you just click on the error and implement all what it needed. So the next thing, we are going to create a construct. We are going to create the context of this adapter. We call it context. So private. The next thing is going to be the array list. We give it image, which is the class, the image class. We set it as variable as array list. So we create a constructor for all of them. I think that is okay. So let's bring in all the things that we created in the item layout. We bring in the image view, which is image view. We bring in the text view. We name it as text view creators. Let's also set this image view as images. So remember that we are doing all this so that we can be able to import the reference or the IDs from the XML layout. So we set image view is equal to item view dot find view by ID. So we are referencing the ID from the XML layout so that we'll be able to use them. So this is where we are referencing all the IDs so that we'll be able to use them. So we also set the creators, text view creators equal to item dot find view by ID. So we reference it. Also the same thing for the likes. So at this point it's good to go. So we can now use all these things in our image adapter now. So we set this dot size. So the next thing, we are going to bring in the Java class. We set images is equal to get array list dot get the position of the image. Then we are going to set, that means getting the position of all the items. So we are going to bring in image URL creators. All of them will now connect it with the Java class. All this we are doing is that we are connecting with the Java class before we will now be able to insert it into the XML layout for it to display. So let's set holder dot image view dot text view creators dot set text. Will now set the creators. So we are bringing in from the Java class into the adapter class. So likewise we'll do to the likes. But the image view, we are going to use Picasso to get the image from the website. You cannot just set image as text. So we need to use Picasso library. That's why we brought in Picasso. So picasso.get.load image url.fit in center crop into holder.image text view image. So now all these are set. Let's reference the layout. Let's bring in the layout itself. So we said view v is equal to layout inflector dot inflect from this context inflect arrow dot layout dot m item layout parents, then the next thing false. So we are going to return new. We'll now connect it to the my view holder. So at this point everything is set. If you don't understand, please comment below. So next thing we are going to do is to connect it with the main activity.java. So we'll bring in our Recyclerview because it will be connected to the Recyclerview. We'll bring in the image adapter, set it as image adapter. We'll bring in the array list of the, we'll set the image Java class as an array list. So we'll bring in volley request queue, which is representing volley, for us to be able to get requests from the server, from Pixabay server. So Recyclerview will find view by the ID. So we set Recyclerview as set fixed size true, should be fixed. Then we set Recyclerview as linear layout because Recyclerview also has grid, so we are using the linear way. So that is that. So the next thing, we are going to set the bring in the Java class, the array list of the Java class. So let's just name it image array list. Image array list, we set it as an array list is equal to new array list. So let's create a method. Request queue is equal to volley.new request queue. So we are connecting to volley library to get our images from Pixabay server. So let's create a method for us to work to bring in all the Pixabay attributes, which is the image, the creator's name, the likes, and the image itself. So let's look at it. So this is the way it is. So what I'm going to do is that I'm going to use cars. I'm going to remove the flower and put cars. I don't need flower. I want my wallpapers to be cars. So let's set it. I think the network is disturbing. Let me check my network connection. Let's check it very well. Alright, I'll fix that. Alright, so we have changed the keyword from image yellow flower to cars. So let's write our Json request. So we are using Json object request. Why? Because all these are objects. So we set it as request. Is equal to new JSON object request. We set request dot. So let's look at the particular request we are using. We are using volley request dot method dot get. Then we set the URL. We set it as null. Then we set new response listener. So new error listener. So we are going to set the error.printrex. Let's give it a toast message so that we really know what is happening. So use a toast dot, let's set it completely toasts, then we set it as get application context. The message should be unable to load images. So let's proceed to write our code. So the next thing is the heat. The heat is in array. The heat is an array. So we use JSON array. We set it as array is equal to new response.get JSON array. We'll write the heat. So let's just give it some. We're going to give it, surround it with try catch in case there's any error. So the next thing, we are going to use a for loop. We set int I is equal to 0, I less than JSON array dot length I plus plus. So everything that is in here. So remember, all these are objects. So the next thing we are going to set is JSON object request. JSON object, we'll name it as heat is equal to JSON array dot get object, which is I. So we are going to bring in all the things that we need from the server, which is the creator's name, heat.getString, the user. The creators is the user from the server. So we set the image URL heat.getString. Image is a string. We use, okay, this is the one we are going to use. So the next thing is to set the int like heat.getInt. We set the likes. So now we are going to bring in the image array list.add. We now add from the Java class new images. Then we bring in all these variables that we wrote here. We'll bring it into this line of code. Then the next thing, we are going to come down here and say image adapter is equal to new image adapter. The context will be main activity.this. Then we bring in the image array list. Then we set Recyclerview.set adapter image adapter. So I think at this point we are okay with this. Let's bring in let's add this line of code to the volley request queue, which is this request. So everything from the server will be added to the volley request queue. So I think everything is alright. Let's test our app. So I'm using a real device. From my tab, I've run the app. You can see this is the app. If you don't get the same result with me, please let me know. Alright, thank you. Please, if you are okay with what I'm doing, if it pleases you, please subscribe to my channel, like the video and share with friends. I wish to see you some other time. Thank you for hanging around and for watching.